Alright, welcome everyone. Here we are with yet another Vintage Cube video on my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're having a lovely day. If I wasn't already, I would have a lovely day just now, seeing the Mox Pearl as my first pick here. So let's try and analyze this first pack just a little bit before moving along. So here we have Premier Blue Duel, Premier Blue Disruption, Gray Green Accelerator, Gray Red Finisher, and Gut. Gut is a card that's impressed me a lot. I've seen kind of mixed reviews on this card. Well, mainly one or two guys who aren't that impressed, basically stating that any like uncontested 3-drop is great when your opponent is like stumbling. But I really think Gut is awesome. Like the evasive skeletons are just great, and oftentimes you have stuff like blood, small creatures, treasures lying around, and yeah, that card can just snowball quickly. What else are we passing here? I mean, the Mox is white, so let's look at the... I guess Wandering Emperor is a decent card. I'll play it in any white deck, basically. There's also a Doomsday in there. It's usually a good idea to kind of keep an eye out for the combo pieces being in the draft. Alright, next pack here. What I immediately like here is Polluted Delta. Blue fetches are great. Not anything new under the sun there. 2-mana counters are also great. The Mana League is awesome. Blood Crypt and Taiga, not the most exciting duels, unless you have like a good reason, like you're already in the colors, you want to bolster your mana. But I mean, Mox Pearl could be anything here. This pick is not going to be dictated by which color this Mox is, but our play or picks down the line could very well be. I think I'm fine picking up Polluted Delta here over the Mana Leak. It's very flexible. Fetch lands are insane, especially with tri-lands. Yeah. Let's see where that takes us. Yeah, that takes me to a pack with a Scrubland that I'm interested in. Palantir of Orthanc is a card that basically makes all of my decks. Just a good engine. Sometimes you have a little bit of synergy, like milling over stuff for your yard. If you have an aggressive deck, your opponent is just going to make this into a... be forced to make this into like a great correction arena. But I'm actually going to take Grim Monolith here. I think Grim Monolith is like a card, of course, a little bit worse than Mana Vault, but it's like a reason to go semi-big. It's also a reason to look into artifact synergies. Let's see. Let's see if some of that stuff comes to fruition. What are we passing up on here? Not any like premier cards, I would say, which makes the pick even better. Okay, now things can become difficult, because what I could do is pick up the second monolith, the Zalt Monolith, which would make future Zerda into very, very nice. A very, very nice pickup. Going infinite mana. Then we have Dismember, which is going to make like all of my decks. Then we have Oliphant, which is awesome fixer / backdoor reanimator card. I really like this, like a red fetch, basically. Then we have Golas, which will be insane if we get like Academy, Sheldog Isle, Ursa Saga, that sort of jazz. Yeah, let's try and take this Basalt Monolith and see if the big mana is paying off this draft. The Healy would be a nice one to wheel in case we're all about artifacts. Okay. Yeah, this is another awesome pack, actually. So what I could do to stay on theme is go either Skull Clamp or Shorikai. The thing about that is, I kind of want those cards together. Like, this card is pretty awesome. Like, a big artifact, basically, let's call it just Artifact Jace the Mind Sculptor. Like, this card is pretty cool. Ponder is never bad. It just makes your 40-card deck so much more consistent. But I really want to go for the Skull Clamp. Keep the theme of artifacts only, and see where that takes me. Well, with that being said, I could have also taken Shorikai or Asika's Chariot. But at the moment, let's just go for colorless artifacts when they're available. Okay, next pack, is Goblin Engineer any good? So I would play Goblin Engineer if I had a big, let's call it a Tinker target for the sake of argument. And then I had like Welder or Deready. All of that fits into artifact theme, which is pretty cool. What else would I be looking at here? Pirate Spellbomb, which is mainly a, let's say, part of a critical mass of small artifacts. But I think since I'm on the lookout for Zerda already, let's try and take this Goblin Engineer, see where that takes me. That sounds kind of cool. Okay, here the pick is pretty simple for me. I'm going to take Mox Opal. I mean, already with the picks we have lined up, it looks like this is going to be a great Mox Opal deck. So let's just take that. It's funny, we don't have anything aside from a Goblin Engineer of colored cards yet. I mean, if we can continue that, I'll happily do that, but I very much doubt that's the case. So now, funnily enough, we can go for Glimmer Lens, which is an artifact, or Unlicensed Hearse, which is also an artifact. Or we could go for Dig Through Time, but I don't think this deck will be the best at putting random cards in the yard. This would be kind of cool, like Big Borrow's artifacts with Glimmer Lens, Goblin Engineer, stuff like that. I've never tried that deck before. That might be decent. Is that or Hearse? But let's just take the Glimmer Lens. I think that's reasonable. Huh. Okay. We wield the Gut. Gut is most likely gonna be great in this deck. If I stick to the red theme, like sacking bad artifacts, that should be possible. The thing about the automaton is if I leave that in the pack, let's say another player is flirting with the idea of going artifacts, then I kind of leave the door open. Yeah, I'll take Gut. He's simply too powerful, but oh yeah, pretty awesome to have that choice, I think. Maybe this is just an easy staff of the storyteller. Staff is good with Gut. It's good with Skull Clamp. It's an artifact. Good with Opal. Oh, Borrow's artifact, you say. Okay. I don't mind. Maybe I have to take a look at this showdown. So you play this card, 4 mana, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So if we have a bunch of cheap cards, we can kind of go off. And then the 2 following turns, you can kind of grow your team. Okay. I guess I'm down for that. Okay. I mean, more good stuff here. Which one do we want? Both are kind of fitting the theme. I guess I'll take the cheapest one, but that's also an awesome choice to have. Then we even get free fixing. So Scrapwork Mutt, very unassuming, 2/1. When you play, you discard a card to draw a card. But it's an artifact. It comes back. It has 1 toughness, good with Skull Clamp. Good with Gut all the way, basically. Rabid Battery is another artifact. I mean, if... Oh, something happened there. Okay. Huh. Like, big borrows. Yeah, I mean, big borrows artifacts. I can see that working out. Okay, well, very easy Black Lotus to start off on here. Black Lotus is just gonna, make me multi-spell pretty awesome. Like, can never go wrong with the Lotus. So what are we looking to wheel? Maybe the Duretti. Duretti is a card that lets me kind of tinker from the yard. I think the card is called Trash to Treasure or something along those lines. It's an old Mirrodin card, red and 2 colorless, like a tribute to Tinker. And Goblin Engineer is kind of an entomb, because you can search your deck for any artifact with Goblin Engineer, but you can only use it to put a 3-drop into play, or less. But yeah, very easy Black Lotus. It's even an artifact to boot. Next pack. Sensei's Divining Top, cheap artifact. Never bad. But maybe this is time... Ooh, Hangerback Walker is also awesome with Gut and Skull Clamp. But I think I should be able to wheel like cards like that. Maybe I just take Reprieve for interaction. This is actually quite a tough one, because I'm looking to get 2 cards out of this pack. And what's the most realistic? There's also something to be said about that I should take the fetch land, because I really want like Plateau or Sacred Foundry. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe I talked myself into taking Windswept Teeth, then trying to wheel one of the 3. Yeah, not sure about that. Okay, so this might be time to take our first, like, non-artifact. I guess Hero of Bladehole is also a threat that's not really an artifact. But Lelia is just pretty awesome. I think I'm supposed to take Lelia here. Lelia is both, like, it's basically just, like, value and pressure. I really like that card. Also, it combos with something like Showdown. It grows. Okay. Oh my god. So this pack, well, this card is just one of the best non-power things you can be doing in Cube. Like, this card is good at almost any stage of the game. And especially with my monoliths and yeah, I have both monoliths and Black Lotus. Like, that card is going to be insane in this deck. Just such a good rate. So let's pick up 4th Theolingus and laugh all the way to the bank. What does this pack have? So Bomat Courier is a cheap artifact that is good with, let's see, it's good with Glimmerlens, it's good with Gut, it's good with Skull Clamp, it's just good with, itself. Is that better than a tapped red whiteling? That's the question. I'm actually, yeah, I'm gonna try and take it. Like, this deck is just super unique. I've never had it before. This could be portable whole time. Cheap artifact that interacts can be kind of a good one for one early. Other than that, Everflowing Chalice, not really my favorite, but it's definitely not crazy to take it there. Now I think I'm supposed to take Nettle Cyst. I think I have enough artifacts for Nettle Cyst to be a house. Can't remember. Oh, the Automaton is gone. Yeah, I picked something else. Fair enough. So I have to remember, I kind of want a big artifact for Goblin Engineer, but it's not really mandatory. Card like Grave Titan could be a good hard cast. Is Memory Jar good in this deck? Memory Jar. I mean, it could be. Let's speculate on the jar. I'm not really sure about that one. Okay, so we get the ready. I'm going to take it over, not much of anything. Keep it over here. Hangerback Wield. Like that card in our deck. Like, good with Gut, good with Skull Clamp, right? So, and good type for Opal. And yeah, I guess it's just Opal now. Or maybe Doretti. Like, sacrifice a Hangerback, get back something big. So ideally, I want like one big artifact in this deck. Ideally, that's Portal to Phyrexia. Let's see if that is possible. And I want to bolster my mana. Right now, the Windswept Heath doesn't have a good friend. That would be awesome. I'm doing very well on playables, I think. So, could be time. Let's take the Oust. Most likely not going to start it, but it could be good in some matchup. Yeah, this looks kind of cool. I have high power level from, Skull Clamp, Gut, Lalia, Ortheolingus. Like, that's some heavy hitters. And I think I have a reasonably aggressive deck. If I don't get to pair this Windswept Heath with a duel, like Plateau or Sacred Foundry, I'm gonna be sad about missing out on the reprieve. Because something that this deck could lose to is just not having interaction and just getting, outshined in a game or two, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, pretty interesting deck here. I mean, I could almost submit a playable deck after pack 2, I would bet. So we're obviously in a very great shape. It's kind of cool that if the card just says artifact on it, chances are it's going to be reasonable in my deck. Here, I'm not going to bother with a lot of these. I'm going to take Sevine's Reclamation for the grindy matchups. The Flesh Scourger, is that good enough to have as a Goblin Engineer target? I doubt it. I'm not going to have black mana reliably, I think, so I'm just going to hate pick this Wrath of God. Anamorphose, not for this deck. All right, now we open Time Walk. What the hell is going on here? So maybe this Polluted Delta is back on the menu because I'm not going to pass Time Walk in this spot. Holy crap, that's Lotus, Time Walk, and Pearl? What can we realistically wheel out of this pack? Like, I want this Ballista because I want to complete my Monolith combos with um, Zerda. Huh. Okay, let's take the walk here and try and pick up some fixing that makes sense. So right after saying that, I get a great fixer that both of my fetches can go get. and it's blue-white. But it's in the same pack as the absolute best thing to a Goblin Engineer out. That's a very tough one. I want to enable my Time Walk, but letting Portals of Phyrexia go there is not my favorite thing to do. Wow. Time Walk, Mox Pearl, Black Lotus, and you can even argue that Mox Opal is going to be close to power in this deck. Well, maybe that's a stretch. I could actually work a little bit on early artifacts. I don't have, like, infinite. So, as things stand right now, I don't think I'm playing the Engineer. I might play the Engineer to go get Memory Jar to put in the yard. But let's see about that. Let's see, my 4th Yoling is in triple power. With Lelian Gut as well. Like, that's a lot of power. No pun intended. So there's Ancient Tomb that I like. What else are we looking at? We're looking at Restless Bivouac, like improving my red-white mana a little bit. Maybe that's just what I was supposed to do here. Ancient Tomb, though. Great with Monoliths. Great with, like, Yerlinga's Gut, Nettle Cyst. Unclear. I'm going to try and improve my Boros mana here. Okay, this pack has Mere Battlesphere that I like a lot. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to take Mere Battlesphere and not run the Jar. Because then having the Goblin Engineer as an Entomb card actually makes sense. Let's see if... Alright, we're back after minor technical issue. Lotus Petal or Phyrexian Dragon Engine. I think I'm supposed to take Lotus Petal here. Just powering out stuff is pretty awesome. Shout out to the Mystical Tutor. That could have been maybe great in this deck. Not 100% sure. So right now, if I'm playing, not playing Jar, and playing Battlesphere, keep the Engineer. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Okay, there's a Goblin Welder. That's another card to... You know, that's good with Engineer. That's good with Daretti, discarding Worm Coil. Let's speculate on the Goblin Welder here. Goblin Welder with Memory Jar. Let's see if I remember correctly. Isn't that some kind of mill combo? Well, it can be, I guess. Not necessarily. Let's keep it in mind here. There's a plateau. And not much else. That's pretty perfect. Right now, I have 8 spots in my deck. That would make 14 lands total with, like, double Mox and Lotus. So maybe I have to make 1 cut. Maybe that's, like, Fear of Bladehold or something. Yeah, these are just normal aggro cards. The Firebrand and the Usher. I'm not going to play any of those. Yeah, let's take the Usher. Goblin Welder. I haven't had a Welder deck in quite a while. It's not usually my, let's say, playstyle. Maybe that's... Yeah, maybe it's just not useful that often, right? There's sort of the Meek, which is good with Engineer, but only if we wheel the Thopter Foundry. So I'm just going to improve my mana for sure, and then I'm going to cry when I get the Thopter Foundry in a few packs. I think I saw it here in pack 3. Red, white artifact stuff. The monoliths didn't... Oh my god, that's awesome. I was about to say the monoliths didn't, like... I didn't complete it with Zerda, but yeah, I'm not going to complain here. I'm taking this over Magda, which would also have been a good card. I like Battlesphere and Portal as my big boy duo. So right now, if I add 8 lands, I'm at... Okay, let's just take a third commando. If I add 8 lands, I'm at 15 with double Mox. Yeah, I think that's... Now I just have a deck. Now I'm not gonna... Unless something crazy comes around, I'm not gonna, you know, change my deck. Let's see how many blue sources did I get to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6.5. So let's call it 6. Like Black Lotus as a blue source is a bit iffy. Ooh, I might even like. Isn't this card insane with Welder? Let's see if it enters from the yard. I think that's what it does. Yeah. So if I can weld this back and forth, that's just awesome. Huh. So now I need to make one cut because of that pickup. I think the Dragon Engine is just... So whenever... It's double 2 Trouble Strike for 3 mana. Artifact, cool. But when Phyrexian Dragon Engine enters from your graveyard, you may discard your hand if you do draw 3. So not only can you unearth it and do that, you can also like weld it back and forth, which is pretty damn awesome if you ask me. So that means I have to cut a card. And that card is most likely going to be a non-artifact card. It's going to, like, non-artifact synergistic card. And I think that's Showdown, because now my deck is only artifacts or artifact synergy cards. Well, the 2 premier drops here, I guess. God Lele, Fourth Yolingas. Like, then you have the premier cards over here, and all of this is artifact synergy. Like, I like this a lot. So let's check out the mana base. I need to add 8 lands, so let's see how many red sources I already have. 1, 2, not 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 7. So in a perfect world, I want to go 8, 9, 10. That would be kind of cool to have 10 red sources. Let's see about white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, my mana is going to be awesome here, because I can even go 1 more red, 4 white. Is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe I can even go like this, because blue is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the time walk. Yeah, this is looking awesome. I can't wait to play this deck. Borrows Artifact Acro. Let's go. See you guys for the matches. All right, here up for round 1. I'm on the draw here. Opponent's led on Esper Sentinel. I have a fairly average starting hand, I would say, for this deck's standards. Let's see if we can kind of grow ourselves into this game. Grim Monolith, the draw for the turn. Versus Saga, the play. Very strong opening from the opponent here. Shadow Spear, even. So, yeah, this could be very problematic. Like, I really don't want to give my opponent an extra card with Esper Sentinel, but it just might have to be with the Doctor Ordered. Can, however, go like this. Hang our back for this turn. Really have to find some land to be in this game. Also, I can't just run away with things with stuff like Gut, since my opponent has Shadow Spear. Really can't remember how I'm beating that card. Well, Black Lotus is a good start. Maybe I'm supposed to get like the ready going. But that's also very tough through the Tramplers. Maybe that is how I'm supposed to play. So I go Black Lotus, pay. Black Lotus, pay. Then the ready. I don't really like this, to be honest. Let's see. Does it make sense to get Basalt Monolith just in a play? Maybe I go Assault Monolith, so I have like a bad artifact lying around. I don't know. Let's see. They're ready. Gonna discard up to 2 cards. Maybe I'll go ahead and discard Glimmerlance and Staff. See where that takes me. Find a land for the turn. Think I'm ready to like block with Hanger back to keep the ready alive. Lelian Gut. You would think they could do some damage here, but maybe not. Maybe Ursa Saga is just too strong. Ursa Saga finds Mox Opal. Opponent has 2 mana. So the equip is gonna work And the opponent can also attack with Sentinel to ensure that the ready dies. Yeah, this is just a beating. Not much to say. Oh, okay. So opponent didn't want to throw Sentinel under the bus. I get to survive with the ready, but I can't cash for treasure. Nomad Courier doesn't exactly help me here. Let's discard, I don't know, Gut and Nomad. So now the problem is my opponent's gonna get rid of the ready. So Goblin Engineering, the portal to the yard, doesn't hold that much value, unfortunately. I'm trying to think about like how I can realistically win this game. Maybe it's just better to concede and not show like some of my tricks. Yeah, very sad. Yeah, I have to do that. Like that opening was just very, very strong. What can we do against the deck like that? Like we can board in a card like Cathar Commando. That card is very strong, just getting rid of Ursa Saga. And we can, the other thing we can do is just like trust that our deck can, you know, do a better job. Like drawing, I guess I drew Lotus turn 2, can't really complain, right? I just got outshined. So let's see, maybe I just cut something like Assault Monolith. That card isn't the best in this deck. It doesn't generate plus mana. Yeah, maybe just go for this. Then I have like one Ursa Saga target answer rather, and I just go with my own game plan, which I think is the strength of this deck. Yeah, that hand is not playable. Let's look for a new one. Wow. Yeah, I'm not gonna mulligan to 5 here, but this could very well be just simply too bad. Let's see if we can have some good draw steps from here. We really need some good draw steps. Would we have something like Lele, like Gut, stuff like that? Portable Hole. Sure. My opponent kills a Mox, which is annoying. Maybe I play Windswept Heath here. So right now I don't need the Mox back, but I can at any time with Cathar Commando's activated ability. Oh, yeah. My opponent's kind of forcing the issue here. Kill the Ursa Saga in response to the first chapter. So they can't even tap it for mana, which is, you know, helpful. Now I'm going to go get my Triome. Oh, by the way, last minute, forgot to mention, last minute I added an island to this deck because the Polluted Delta only had one target. I think my mana was good enough for that. Come on, baby. Goblin Welder. Goblin Welder is going to be great in play if I draw the Engineer. I have an Opal in hand, sneaky Opal in hand. Luminarch. Yeah, that card is beatable. The Ready. Huh. Okay. I mean, the Ready is a decent card, like in a game where you're not under a ton of pressure. Okay. So next turn, I can dump Mirror Battlesphere to the yard. If I draw into an artifact, I can get a Mirror Battlesphere into play. That's kind of decent, right? But time is ticking for this Doretti. Luminar got a 3/3. Porcelain Legionnaire to keep up the pressure. That's not an artifact. Sorry to say so. So discard both. Draw into an artifact? Okay, we drew into an artifact for sure. So maybe the play is portable. Nah, I think I'm just gonna weld out the pedal and kill the Luminarch. I think that's totally fine. So play portable hole. Get rid of that. Then I'm gonna play pedal. Gonna use that pedal to turn that into a battle sphere. Pretty awesome here. The deck is showing some synergy this game. Now the opponent's going to have a very tough time because I can just go like weld back and forth next turn if I want to. Don't think I'm necessarily supposed to do that. Let's see. Staff of the Storyteller, rather. Stuff. Nice stuff. Let's just get in for a bunch of damage here. Maybe I just go like that. Stay back with one mirror. Could be clutch. Let's see what my opponent does to a 7/7 Mirror Battlesphere. Also note that I'm going to keep this Welder untapped because it's kind of like protection for Battlesphere. Let's say your opponent goes Swords to Plowshares or Emperor. Okay, there it is. Then like welding that out, and it just, yeah. I'm not sure the opponent's aware what's going on here. Let's see. So now I go Staff. Then I go -2 to ready. Sacrifice an artifact to get Mirror Battlesphere back. What am I going to sacrifice? Tap to mirror is probably fine. Yeah, I mean, this is just too much. Like having the ready welder, now even staff, I can tap to draw a card. Let's see if Magic Online lets me do it. Ah. Like, that's just too much. Yeah, that was pretty lucky. But I think that this deck, just looking at it on paper, that's the stuff it's capable of. It's not like insane what's just happened. Like when you think about the cards we have. Also pretty awesome that the commando actually did its job there. It's not like oftentimes in Cube you're like, oh, I'm gonna make this one adjustment to hedge a little bit against this scenario, and then you can just do that like 50 times and it doesn't come up. But that was pretty cool to build that saga while we were scrapping a little bit, I would say. I mean, my opening hand was atrocious. I needed to draw kind of well to be in that game. Okay, game 3 here. Opponent's on the play with a 7-card hand. I can't cast my Goblin Welder, but I can. I have a little bit of removal in Portable Hole. I can grind a little bit with Staff. I can maybe even get a hit in with Glimmer Lens. Let's see about that. I just don't want to get Urza Saga. That's the main problem. Mother of Runes. Yeah, we just try and get that out of here right away. Because in an, like, let's call this kind of an aggro matchup. If your opponent untaps with Mother of Runes, this is awesome. If my opponent untaps with Mother of Runes, combat can get kind of complicated. This is a cool one. So Portable Hole on Portable Hole. Okay. I could see this being the way forward, going Staff getting ready to draw, then Skull Clam getting ready to draw. Let's see if that works. I mean, Staff is also good with Glimmer Lens. I'll wait a little bit with the Mutt, ideally, because Scrapwork Mutt puts a card in the yard, and maybe that's just Mirror Battlesphere or something even better later on. Okay. So what I was meaning to do here was... this is actually a good land. I mean, I'm definitely going to play that this turn. I think what I'm going to do this turn is just go Glimmer Lens Welder, maybe? Maybe having that Welder in play is just, like, dangerous for the opponent. Yeah, why not? Gonna attack for 1 in the air here. My opponent only has ground creatures, and the Spirit is not gonna block the Legionnaire next turn. So I don't mind this like aggro race we're having. It's mostly about, can I get into some of my broken stuff, or does the opponent have something broken? Okay, more aggro stuff. But there's a lot of protection here, so I don't have infinite time. Okay. Active Mother Runes, so attacking here is not the best. Unless I equip it with Skull Clamp, then maybe that's a good attack. Let's see, if I go Skull Clamp and equip the Rebel, then maybe it's better on defense, actually, the more I think about it. I could just go clamp that. Is that good? maybe draw here to see what's going on. Let's see what our options are. Mox Opal is a cool one. Kinda lets us cheat a little bit here. Maybe if I attack for 1 with the Spirit and then clamp it away afterwards. I'm basically playing towards putting a Portal to Phyrexia in my graveyard before I'm dead. And we'll tell if that's possible. Skull Clamp the Flyer. Draw 2 cards. Not very useful here. Let's see. Plateau. Skull Clamp here. I think I like that. Maybe play Opal out, because why not? I guess with that, okay. With that logic, I should have developed a Beaver Rock, a Tapland rather. Adeline, very complicated aggro card. That's, let's see. One gets a 1/1. I'm gonna take a bunch of damage here. I'm gonna block there, try and draw 2. I'm really trying to grind my way. Okay. Let's see. Protection from red, that works. I draw 2. Yeah, maybe we're reaching the... Yeah, that doesn't help. Maybe we're reaching the point where the portal isn't even enough. Ortheolingus. Yeah, normally that card would be insane here. I'm now at 13. Ortheolingus. Yeah, that just doesn't do it here. I think I'm supposed to go Mutt, see what's going on. Discard Delta. That's not a Time Walk. I think Time Walk was one of my ways to win that game. So maybe my literally only out here is, let's see. If I block Adeline next turn, well, I have to or I'm dead. So I can't equip with Skull Clamp. Yeah, I really don't think I can win this game unless I draw exactly Time Walk. Maybe I was trying to think here. I don't think I have a way to win this game. Maybe this, yeah, this land, yeah, funnily enough, I made a bad land drop 2 turns in a row. First time, I didn't use my mana, so might as well have played a tap land. Now I actually need my mana, because I could have cycled here and get another draw in. Yeah, that's not the best. That is not the best. So, block. Take 8? Yeah, this is over. This is over. So, Talia is also very complicated here, because my plan was to top deck Time Walk, then play Time Walk, then play Big Lingus and get two hits in, but that's just not going to do it. Okay, we got like super out aggroed here. I didn't play my best to like give myself the best chance to win, but I mean that's how it goes sometimes. I guess this is also just too many lands to realistically be competitive against a deck that where stopped the 3 mana, didn't stop playing creatures. So yeah, we drew half of our deck, didn't get to do anything unfair. That's how it goes. See you guys for round 2. Okay, here we are for yet another match. Round 2 of the Vintage Cube draft. Yeah, this is not really how you win with this deck. It was a lot better. These 6 can definitely play, so let's see if we go... Maybe, let's see, 1 artifact, 2 artifacts. If this is my 3rd, it's kind of slow. What if I bin the Engineer? No, the Engineer is good with the Dragon Engine. Maybe I'm just supposed to draw just another, like, hand along the way or something, and then I'm fine. Maybe bin the Petal. Yeah, let's try that. So... I actually, on second thought, I don't even think my Delta is red. I'll be sloppy. Let me check the list here. The polluted delta is not a red source. Okay, that's too bad. So right now I need to get Metalcraft, Basic Island, Walker, Hangerback for 1. That was a good draw. I'll play the Opal out in case my opponent gets frisky and tries to kill the Bomat, then I'll at least consider what to do. So next turn I can go... I should probably go Nettle Cyst. But let's see. Ancestral Recall. That is a good one. And Ursa Saga is back to haunt me. And Delabra. Who, funnily enough, 2 artifact matchups-ish to start the day. Did that hurt me? Drawing... No, I think that's fine. Maybe I just played the equipment out. Probably okay. Get in for 2. Yeah, I'm trying to build up some board presence while also most likely next turn going engineer. Like engineer for the dragon engine sounds pretty cool. Volcanic Island. So my opponent looks like an awesome Is It artifact deck? Dak Faden. Trying to steal what? The opponent might not like what's going on here. Trying to steal a Nettle Cyst doesn't do a whole lot. Because I still have the creature. Look, they can move that equipment, of course, but... Yeah, the opponent realizes that didn't work. I think I've tried that with Battleskull once, so... Yeah, bad time to find out. So my play there was to just kill Dak, pressure the life total, then put Dragon Engine in my graveyard, getting ready to like go almost hellbent and then refill, draw 3. That's a lot of board presence. So up against another artifact deck, I also want the Commando. I'm going to cut the Basalt Monolith for the same reasons as last time, where Basalt Monolith doesn't, generate mana right away. It's good with relatively few cards. Here I'm going to keep it. Not the best hand, but this has some potential, right? I'm walk into Nettle Cyst, see what's going on. Hopefully have a couple of non-land draws here. Goblin Weller is a cool one, but yeah, let's wait a little bit with that, because we need to fetch our Triome here for Time Walk. Unless I want to go off Time Walk and kind of do it later for more value. With very explosive start. Landmark's Talisman, plus Sensei's Divining Top even, that you couldn't have played if these were still Signets. I remember when Signets were relatively high picks. These days you kind of need some artifact synergies for Talismans to be good. Ursa Saga is not my favorite card, I can tell you that much. It's so strong. Trinket Mage, yeah, I'm just gonna fetch my land here. Trinket Mage. Top and Sapphire already in play, so what's it gonna be? What is it gonna be, opponent? Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Trying to get some cube content in. Definitely one of my favorite activities. Yeah, I'm just getting super smoked here. Ursa Saga is just too strong. Let's see if we can find a 3-1. Yeah, that's going to be a problem because I don't have that many ways to get rid of Portal from hand. The powerful 1/1 Germ token here. Opponent looks with top on end step, and then he starts cranking out like 7/7s or something along those lines. Very tough game. Sensei Divining Top is a card that I really like for a lot of the same reasons that I like Preordained Ponder or whatever. It's just it's just good consistency in small decks, like 40 card decks. And unless you're getting like super pressured by an aggressive deck, yeah, I just like that card. I'll play it in most decks. I especially like it in combo and of course like artifact decks, but it's decent. Then you have some shuffle effects to make it better. Then you have something like Monastery Mentor, Iconoclast, Seed Shark, just these Army in a Can cards where top really shines. Sunset Prism. Yeah, the opponent's getting ready to make such big artifacts. Only has one card in hand though, so that's funny. So Grim Monolith. Not a terrible draw here. Goblin Welder. So right now I'm at 8 mana next turn. So if I draw fast mana, I can go Portal. When it makes a 7/7 here, I bet on main phase before the Saga goes to pick up something else. They do it on upkeep. I mean, that works as well. I wonder if they are out of targets now. Double Mox, top already in play. Manifold Key. Okay, we saw that game one. Manifold Key is kind of cool here with some unblockable 8/8s at some point. Good with top for the grind. I think it's a bit narrow in the cube. It's like 15 to pick too often, in my opinion. Here's Dak Faden. Problem is now they can force the tap on my Monolith. And then the Portal to Phyrexia, kind of a pipe dream. I think I have, let's see, what do I have? Just the one Scrapwork Mutt, maybe? If I'm able to put it in my yard, I can weld a Nettle Cyst for Portal, kill my opponent's 3 creatures, and then I'm right back in business. So that's the dream right now. I'm going to take 9 here. Well, there's an argument. Yeah, okay. I should have blocked. I should have blocked because I can't really win the game unless I find that mutt. Well, and I think Skullclaim is like the only exception to that. So okay, we try. So oh, this doesn't work. Ah, this doesn't work because Skullclaim grows that guy into a 2/2. Okay. I guess I just clamp the welder and see what's going on here. But now it's just impossible to win, I think. Storyteller. Yeah, those guys are gonna do it to me. Okay. Yeah, I was almost excited there for a second. Okay, we're really getting the business here. Seems like the deck has forgot we're running triple power Irlingas. Even you can even count the Opal, I think, in most games. Come on, deck. Yes, give us some good tools to work with. Game 2. Let's see if we can do better. This hand is decent. I like this hand. We can go turn to Staff or Glimmer. Let's see. If I go, I only have 1 white, so maybe I want to go Glimmer Lens because I can't draw with Staff and play Lens anyway. I don't know if that's a reasonable logic. On turn 3, I'm talking about Gut is awesome. Which card is best with Gut? Let's just get the Lens going. That card is the most likely to, deal damage early. I have some pretty good tools this game. Prism for 2, that works. So the opponent gets a nice mana burst. There's second white, so maybe, just maybe, this turn cycle is about Staff plus Activate. Is that reasonable? Staff plus Activate? That's the best move with Gut. I'm actually going to draw the extra card right now because cards like Hull Breacher, and if my opponent has Fairy Mastermind, they need to crack their 2 counters on Prism. I guess, yeah, it's not really an argument. It's mainly the Hull Breacher. Yeah, we draw another not very useful land. Let's see. The Gut is pretty amazing here because you can just sacrifice, like, what do I know, the Glimmer Lens if you don't really like it. Let's see what the opponent's doing here. We know they like Dak Fade. And okay, Thran Dynamo into 3 colorless and a red. Lelia. Okay. My opponent gets Lelia going, which is good. But I think I can match that in aggression with a card like Gut. Opponent hits an island, but they already played a land, so no big deal. Opal is awesome. So I'm going to go Mox Opal. Then I'm going to go Gut. Then I think I'm supposed to sacrifice the Glimmer Lens. So let's stack this correctly. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter. So we draw from Lens. Nice Black Lotus draw. Then I think I'm supposed to sacrifice Glimmer Lens. I get a 4/1 token. I get a counter on my staff. Now I don't have Metalcraft. Like, at the moment, thankfully the Black Lotus fixes that for us. So I go Black Lotus. I think I'm supposed to draw and then play Nettlecyst. Wow, Dragon Engine even. Okay. Is Dragon Engine better? Dragon Engine is a 2/2 double striker, so that's better on defense versus Lelia. So let's do that. And now I don't have anything else to use my mana on. I can go tap land. Like, yeah. This just really exploded. My opponent needs some good stuff here. But the thing is, my opponent has, if they have a land drop, they have 7 mana for this turn, so I mean, bad things can happen for sure. But Gut is just super strong at pushing through damage. Like, it's super complicated for the opponent. 4/1 Menace. I even have flyers. I have, like, crappy artifacts lying around. I can just sacrifice to Gut. So it's easily, like, you force through 12 damage with that card. And the thing is, you don't even have to put Gut himself into combat. That's, like, one of the best things about that card, in my opinion. You can just sit back while you attack with random token. And if those tokens are outclassed, you can just sacrifice them. Let's say my opponent had a big flying blocker, he just sacrificed the spirit. The 4 blocks, right? So you get a skeleton instead. So I think my opponent needs, like, a pretty big card here to be in the game. Let's see if they can muster it. They look with Sensei's Divining Top. They drew a card they liked. Now what? Is this? Okay, this 5 mana smells like Mystic Confluence, but it wasn't. Okay. No Mystic Confluence. There is a Tezzeret, which I have to worry a little bit about, because Tezzeret's -5 can just kill you out of nowhere. Okay, my opponent's going to find a 4-drop in the deck. The One Ring. Now, it is possible the opponent thinks they get the protection. I've had a few friends who thought that as well. Now they realize they don't get the protection. So basically, the fairy puts the artifact into play. The One Ring says you gain the protection if you cast it. So yeah, that didn't really work. Okay, got the job done here. No pun intended. And yeah, we're 1-1, and we finally drew like some power and did some powerful things, which I think the deck is very capable of. Let's see if we can finish the job round 3. Don't go anywhere. All right, round 3 of the Vintage Cube Draft with Boros Artifact, Splash Time Walk. And we unfortunately continue the bad trend of finding very questionable 7s. So let's see. Polluted Delta is a blue source. So if I draw land in my top 2, the Time Walk can probably bridge me into the game. This is so tempting because with a land in top 2, I'm kind of good to go, but I'm not sure the risk is worth it. 2 draws is not that bad, but oof. Okay, we only get into an even worse hand. Time Walk is still kind of mocking us here. Need to go to 5. I'm not sure how this deck performs from 5 cards. Probably has to do with like a card like Lilia would be awesome. Maybe a card like Skull Clamp is awesome. Speaking of, okay, this might just be the best 5 card hand you can imagine. So I think what I'm gonna do here is get rid of Skull Clamp. I'm gonna get rid of a mountain, and then I'm gonna have a very, very simple game plan here. So sad I'm not on the play because, yeah, it's unlikely that this is gonna go the distance. Oh my! What a draw! What a draw! Okay, so I have to shake that off. I think our play is go Plateau Lotus, Earlingus for 2, attack with 1 guy, and then I have the Time Walk for next turn. This is bestial. Yeah, this is just insane. 4th Earlingus for 2, attack with 1 Human Knight, become the Monarch, stay back with 1 to just, clear the Elvish Mystic. Then next turn, I can go fetch my island, cast Time Walk. Time Walk represents not only a cycle for my draw step, but also a draw from the Monarch. Oh, Mox, what a draw. Mox, Lotus, Earlingus, Time Walk. That's a great combination of cards. Now I need to fade like some kind of fatty that makes it so that I can't attack. Devoted Druid. Okay, so the opponent is giving me a bit more time here, which is reasonable, but I still need to find something that stops my opponent's big play, right? So play out Mox to play around the unlikely days, but it is possible, right? Get in for 4, draw a card from Monarch, draw a card for draw step, and then hopefully build some kind of pillow fort here. And not quite a pillow fort. I think I just stay back with 1 knight. Attack like this, my opponent can block for free, but I put a card underneath the Bomat. Yeah, let's see. Like, this could be the most anticlimactic loss of the day, I would say. Let's see what the opponent has next turn. That's really what's gonna, make a difference here. Another kind of useless land. My opponent will have 6 mana now. My opponent will have 8 mana now. Questing Beast is a good one because it attacks well and it defends well. And I don't have much answers for it in the deck. So the opponent takes back the Monarchy. I think I'm supposed to, like, suicide attack on my turn. Let's see if we can draw something meaningful. Goblin Engineer, that's not terrible. Goblin Engineer is not terrible. I think I have to play it out first in case my opponent gets frisky. So I go Goblin Engineer, put, I would guess just Portal into my graveyard. Well, that's the thing. That card could also just represent something else. Like, I can activate it next turn and put in something else. What would be sick? Maybe it's just a dragon engine. Like, it's a... yeah, I can unearth it, right? So, maybe it's just a dragon engine. Okay, fair enough. You got me. Let's attack with everything here. Force through some damage, and... yeah, let's see. Maybe my opponent is blocking the Bomat. Then I'm gonna just sack it, right? Trade my 2 planes for something better, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, what's the opponent gonna do here? I think they're supposed to block the Bomat. That's what they do. Discard my hand. Draw 2 cards. Well, I put 2 cards in hand. So the funny thing is, if I really wanted to, I guess I could have figured out there was a Wormcoil engine under here. Well, not Wormcoil engine. That's I misspoke. Mere Battlesphere. Those cards are kind of similar in my book. Draw a card end of turn. The Monolith. That Monolith means I can cast Mere Battlesphere on my next turn. Friction Dragon Engine is also a possibility. Yeah, if my opponent follows up with one more big thing, I think I'm in trouble. Then I think my turn 1 Earlingus for 2 is about to lose. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be good enough. Picking 7 here. Putting me to 8. Opponent becomes the Monarch once more. Pretty nice with some, like, attackers with Vigilance here for the opponent. Oh, what is this? Oh, second main stuff? Okay, opponent has more. 4 mana. Bad news for me. Very bad news. Opponent needs 6 mana for this play. Very bad news. It can be... oh, it's that Nissa. Oh, crap. So let's see. My opponent probably just makes a 6/6 here. Opponent makes a 6/6. Can't think of a card that gets me out of this jam. Plane sure doesn't. So now I can go from Monolith, Mere Battlesphere. Pass the turn. Opponent's still the Monarch. I get a bunch of guys to defend with here. Biggest problem is if my opponent goes with the Disenchant mode on Nissa, kills Battlesphere, then I have no blocks for the Questing Beast in sight. Opponent goes to 5. I don't think my deck can find the last damage here, to be honest. Yeah, this was a great showing of why it's important to... so even though I got power onto the table, I even time walked. I was the Monarch, drew like 3 or 4 extra cards before my opponent started playing things. But my deck is kind of small ball, so if I just draw a few lands, then my cards just aren't that impactful. That being said, of course, I think you win the game with turn 1 Earlingus for 2, turn 2 time walk. I think you win the game with that kind of sequence extremely often. But I'm just saying other decks would have an easier time putting away a game like that compared to this deck, which is, I mean, this deck is insane, but mainly because of the amount of power in it, right? Let's see if the opponent can... I guess, look, let's try and put ourselves in the opponent's shoes. Right now, it's their game to lose, so to speak. Like, they're firmly in the driver's seat. They have a lot of game actions to do here. So how do you play it in a way that puts me away, but also doesn't just lose to some random crap that I draw off the top, right? The opponent starts with minusing the one of the Nisas to kill the battle sphere. Very reasonable. Because now at least Questing Beast is unblockable. So in theory, the opponent could go attack with animate one more land, attack with just 2 Vigilance lands, and the Questing Beast, and just not worry about the Phyrexian Horror. Okay. Devoted Druid gets... I wonder what if that was a mistake. Let's see. I can't really think of any good reason to crack the Druid there, but... Okay. So Eternal Witness it back. Because why not? Did that do anything? I guess my opponent floated the mana, so they get an untapped Druid. Okay. Okay, they get an untapped Druid out of that exchange. Then they can activate Nissa on the land and get in there. So yeah, this attack is not really what I was hoping when I got up this morning. So can we do a little double block there, take 7? Yeah, let's try and take the 7. My opponent has 5 blockers. The Friction Dragon Engine. I mean, I'm gonna run it, just see what happens. Yeah, 1, 2, with Time Walk gone. Just kind of unthinkable to see what I can do here. Unearth. Discard my hand, draw 3. Portable Hole is a good one, but yeah, not this time. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Opponent did a good job there. I was super excited when I drew that Lotus. I couldn't really fathom that I could lose a game like that. Huh. Question becomes now, is if I have a Wrath of God in my opener, is that a strong play, or am I just supposed to play mono o mono with that deck? I probably am. I have Portal as a nice comeback card, but I haven't really been able to put it together yet. Oof. Turn 1, Yerlinga's X2? Not good enough. Interesting. But also a pretty cool display, I would say. Ooh, okay. So now we have the two welders. So this guy's the engineer, and this guy's the welder. So just 2 craftsmen doing their job. Love it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go turn 1 Goblin Welder. Turn 2, maybe not turn 2 Engineer, actually. Maybe just turn 2 Artifact, and then kind of try and get my opponent, so to speak. Mana Vault. That is a good one, because if my opponent plays like Planeswalkers, it's a bit worse for me, obviously. Okay, let's play the Skull Clan Bout. Try and disguise our game plan just a little bit. Right now I have the option between Battlesphere and Portal. Let's see. Let's see what it's gonna be. This deck has been pretty fun. I think it was a bit more fun on paper, though. We didn't really get to showcase everything from this deck. Let's see. The opponent noticed I did not Skull Clamp away the Welder. So if you don't Skull Clamp away your creature when you have a spare mana, there's a good reason for it. So I'm curious to see what my opponent's logic ends up being here. Waterlock Grove. Lotus Cobra. Okay. That's not amazing. So I'm trying to think here. Is there a chance Yeah, I think it's just good for me to postpone this situation. Maybe I just go Nettle Cyst. Because that also means I get to keep my Skull Clamp in case I want to go Mirror Battlesphere or Portal next turn. There's definitely a world where if my opponent goes small creature plus questing beast or something along those lines, then okay, well, then it's Portal time. But if my opponent doesn't do anything, Mirror Battlesphere with Skull Clamp and Active Welder is just sick. Let's see what we need to do. Goblin Engineer being able to tutor anything and put into the yard is pretty cool. That's like when you haven't really read that card like more than once, you'll just assume you can only quote unquote entomb a small artifact as well, right? But yeah, being able to put anything there is awesome. Okay, let's see. My opponent has 7 mana to work with on turn 3. That's supposed to be us. Blue mana in the pool. What are we looking at? 4 mana. The Sage of my Skull Clamp. Huh. The Sage of my Skull Clamp. Let's find the island if I magically draw Time Walk. Is this... let's see here, because now I can start welding if I want to. 5 mana. Sky Sovereign. That's sick. Because that takes care of the welder. Do I want a Skull Clamp in play? Over the Nettle Cyst? I think I do. Huh. Welder down. We didn't get to do our thing here. Mana Vault tap. Tough times, tough times. Yeah, not my favorite draw either. Let's see. Goblin Engineer. Yes, please. Any artifact. So I'm probably supposed to take something that's good with Skull Clamp, but I don't have the artifact sacrifice right now. What does this do? When you're on Earth, I believe it's exiled, so that doesn't work with Skull Clamp. I guess Staff is the best card with Skull Clamp. You can kind of keep the ball rolling, maybe? Yeah, maybe that's okay. So I equip. I play my land and go. Let's see if this is a May ability. Not a May ability. So if my opponent attacks with Sky Sovereign, they're forced to kill my engineer, and then I draw some cards. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if the opponent can like follow up with like good stuff into good stuff. Then it's gonna be a big problem here. So tap land here is mana neutral because of Cobra. Green mana. Don't do it. Yeah, that's like the definition of don't do it. We're getting channeled here. I highly doubt we can win this game. Let's see. Yeah, what could this be? Primeval Titan, Nissa, Oger. That card is pretty cool. When it deals damage to me, you look at that many cards. That many is important because it has trample, so you can't just chump block it. And then you get to put creatures into your hand, or lands, out of those cards. Okay, so the opponent wants to kill my engineer. Do I have an out to play that portal next turn? I don't think so. Well, I guess Black Lotus can do stuff like that. Opponent attacks for 8. Drawing a Black Lotus here would be absurd. Lotus Petal, not quite. Yeah, this is looking dangerous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, and my opponent's going to kill me next turn. Okay. So that does it. We really got our ass handed to us here. We had quad power. Well, I count the opal here because of the high artifact count in the deck. You can even count your lingots if you want. But I think we maybe didn't draw the best land spell ratio, had to mulligan a lot, had to flood a lot in the mid to late game. Then it's just hard to win no matter how good your deck is. Yeah, I mean, I think this deck was awesome. I haven't played this archetype in a while. Unfortunately, we didn't win a lot today, but yeah, that's how it is sometimes. I think it was a pretty sweet deck, and some of the games were quite awesome. So yeah, that'll do it for today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.